Hi, welcome, Deb. Hello, Miffy, welcome. Feel free to sit on a pillow or a blanket. I washed my pillows yesterday, so they're too fluffy today. And the blanket you can make a little skinnier. But what happens is it helps to lengthen the spine. We want a nice long spine to allow energy to flow through our chakras. Just picturing the chakras like vortexes going around the spine and working its way up. All that positive energy working through our bodies. Hi, Terry and Barb. Welcome, welcome. So while we're waiting for a few more people to show up, actually waiting for 9:30, 3 more minutes. Let's go ahead and work with our shoulders, loosening, stretching. Maybe one at a time. Even here, we're staying engaged through the core. And feel free to stretch through the neck while we're waiting for the class to start. I'm coming back up. I need to peek and see who else joined us. Hi, Robin. Hi, Jillian. Welcome. I start moving the camera and I make you all busy. So hopefully that'll stay where it is. Just stretching through the neck and the shoulders. Warming up. So stretching chin to chest if you'd like, maybe looking over your shoulder. Never really going back too far, right? We don't want to shorten the back of our neck or put that kind of pressure on the back of our neck. You can go a little more to the side if you want, side to side. Just working through the muscles of the neck and the shoulders before we start class. Hi, Sherry, welcome. Just warming up before we start class, or feel free to just sit and center and be. Sitting on a blanket or a pillow, or even a ball. If you have one of the Pilates balls that we use, feel free to sit on that. It's a little less stable, but getting core work, right, if we're sitting on the ball, because it's a little subtle work through the core, having to stay upright, seated. And one more minute. Wonderful. Sitting tall. Closing your eyes if that feels good for you. I have a reading from The Language of Letting Go, Melody Beattie. I'm really enjoying this book. So just finding your comfortable posture, pose for this reading, getting into your center, letting go. Accepting change. The winds of change blow through our life, sometimes gently, sometimes like a tropical storm. Yes, we have resting places, time to adjust to another level of timing. Time to get our balance, time to enjoy the rewards. We have time to catch our breath. But change is inevitable and desirable. Sometimes when the winds of change begin to rustle, we're not certain the change is for the better. We may call it stress or a temporary condition certain will be restored to normal. Sometimes we resist. We tuck our head down and buck the wind, hoping that things will quickly calm down, get back to the way things were. Is it possible we're being prepared for a new normal? Change will sweep through our life as needed to take us where we're going. We can trust that the universe has a plan in mind, even when we don't know where the changes are leading. We can trust that the change taking place is good. The winds will take us where we need to go. Universe, help me let go of my resistance to change. Help me open to the process. Help me to believe that the place I'll be dropped off will be better than the place where I was picked up. Help me surrender, trust, and accept, even if I don't understand. Let's go ahead and release our legs, shake them out, and then find another way to position our legs. Perhaps we cross our legs in the more awkward way, or perhaps we leave them outstretched. Perhaps we remove the blanket if we're sitting on a blanket or a pillow. Let's roll our shoulders, big rolls. Take our time with this. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Take the time, especially going back and down. Don't bring them forward until you've gone all the way down. That is where we need to focus, because so often our shoulders might be hunched or they might be forward. So let's work on the back and down part. Good. And then keeping our shoulders back and down, let's take our right arm and circle around. And then take our left and circle around. Feel free to get a little bit of a twist if you want, or not. Feel free to take bigger or smaller circles, right? There's a lot of, we're taking our time. We're going slow here because I want you to feel how all the muscles sort of give way to the next muscles that are taking this arm in a circle, right? If we were to just sort of circle our arms around fast, we don't really pay attention to how the muscles are working and how they're all participating, stretching, working together to make this arm move. And then feel the stretch, breathing into it, right? So maybe you don't have a stretch when the arm's coming forward, but maybe you're feeling it more when it lifts up. Maybe we bring it back. Maybe we can't go back any further because it's really too tight. So just lower down. We all have different things going on with our shoulders. So always being very respectful. And then let's hold here. We'll take our hands on our thighs. But first, let's go ahead and reach our arms. Actually, I realized I didn't change my legs. And I asked you guys to. Bringing our arms forward, our wrists on our like hanging off our knees, right? And then we're just going to slide our shoulders back, our elbows back along our side, and just placing our hands on our thighs. Now let's work with the neck, chin to chest, and then eyes straight ahead. We're keeping the shoulders back. We're keeping long and strong through the spine, through the core set, right? Chin to chest. And then bringing our head up, but not back, lengthening. One more time, chin to chest. Maybe this time we go a little further down, keeping the shoulders back and keeping strong through the core. And then eyes back up. Good. Let's turn, look over our shoulder. And then turn, look over our shoulder, or wherever you can, right? So let's do it one more time in each direction. Turn, look over the shoulder. See if we can roll our shoulders back a little further. Maybe that brings the chin a little further forward, right? Everybody's got, you just have to pay attention and honor what's going on with your neck and shoulders. And then we'll take it to the other side, keeping strong. Breathe. Back to the center. This time, let's go ahead and keeping our head and nose straight ahead, we'll take our ear to our shoulder. Sometimes our shoulder wants to come up and meet our ear. Let's keep it down and back. And then here, feel free to dip the chin. We're going slow, going fast, may sort of make the muscles tense up even more and then could cause injury. So we're nice and slow here, allowing the muscles to release and relax and stretch. If you don't want to dip the chin, that's fine. Let's come back up center and other side. So coming up center, even though we're moving the head here, the neck, right? So now we're down to the other side. Left shoulder is staying down, so is the right. Bringing the ear towards the shoulder and staying engaged, still using the core. Even when we're moving just the neck, see how keeping the core engaged is helping with this. Also supporting the back. Maybe we dip, maybe we turn a little. And then nice and easy coming back up. Good. So let's alternate. We're keeping our hands right where they are. See if we can get big circles. With our hands staying where they are, it might feel a little more challenging to move the shoulders because our elbows and hands and arms want to help with this. And we're trying to get movement through the shoulders independent of everything else. It's okay to get a little twist if you want. Let's circle in the other direction. And then release. Good. So if we're sitting on the mat, we are sitting on the mat. If we're sitting on the blanket, go ahead and remove that. Unless it's really comfortable to stay on it. What we're going to do is lengthen our legs out, finding the sit bones, and then inhale and exhale. So we're spiraling the legs together, keeping strong through the thighs, taking our right hand right next to our hip. Not putting a lot of weight on our right hand, but more sort of lifting and lengthening as if we're trying to lift and just sort of float on our sit bones. Now, we're going to take our head, look up, and then looking down, staying strong. If we're active through the core, active through the rest of our body, this is a lot more challenging than it may look to other people looking at us, right? And then pull the belly in to bring ourselves to the other side. Bringing it up, lengthen over, keep pressing through the sit bones. And then feel free to look up and look down. We want to stay equal through both sit bones, through both hips. We're not leaning over onto this hand, but yet using it to help us lengthen. And then coming back. Rolling the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, curling forward. Scoop the belly back and reaching forward. So in this position, it's the Pilates curl forward. Right, so we're scooping the belly back so the belly does not come down onto the thighs. Lowering our hands, roll our shoulders back. See if we can get a little more length in the spine and the neck as we press into the sit bones, into the hips, and pull. Scoop the belly button back to the spine. And then pulling in, zipping front, stack the back vertebrae, lengthening. Good. Now we're folding forward, leading with the heart, which requires, we don't have to go as far till we feel that stretch in the hamstrings. If your hamstrings are really tight, I'd like you to bend the knees a little bit. So I'd like you to keep the knees and the toes and the feet together. Toes are coming back towards your shins, lifting up towards the ceiling. And then folding over this time, we want to start by trying to put our belly down, which if we're really tight, which even if we're not really tight, this is about as far as you can go, right? Leading with the heart, lengthening the spine, lifting the chin, shoulders back. Keep breathing. Just breathe into wherever you feel that tightness. Back of the body, back of the legs, maybe hips, spine. And now what I'd like you to do is scoop the belly button back and then once again take ourselves over our legs. Reaching forward, maybe our hands come to our thighs, maybe they come to the floor. Scoop the belly back and see if we can come a little further forward. So the difference is through the spine and how we execute this move, this stretch, right? Curling, stretching. Back of the body stretch, forward fold. Scooping the belly in and let's lengthen. Good. We're going to take our left foot to the side and then just shifting a little towards the right leg. Make sure this right leg is not hanging out, right? We want to keep it active, spiral that leg in, toes pointing up, and then let's go ahead and fold forward. Maybe somewhere in between, rather than a straight spine or rather than scooping the belly back too far. Go ahead and see where you can go with this. If you're feeling too much stretch in the back of the knee, please bend the knee, or if you're really tight through the hamstrings, I want you to feel this through the back body, maybe the back, the hips. We're still staying very much engaged through the core, still breathing into wherever you need that stretch to release. Maybe it's the back of the calf, toes still pointing up. Maybe it's the back of the hamstring. Maybe it's the upper back. Let's release through our neck. Let's take those shoulders back and down just like we did earlier. Maybe it feels like our neck is getting a little longer. We will be taller when we're done with this class. Pulling the belly in and up. So even though we're not scooping back or folding forward, we're somewhere in between, right? Let's switch legs. We still keep engaged through the core. Let's take the right foot, bend in, turning towards the left, and then bringing yourself forward, whatever that means. Remember, slight bend in the knee or big bend in the knee. Taking it where it feels good for you. Breathe. And we don't have to go to our deepest part of the pose right away, right? Maybe we're halfway there. We know we can stretch further, but it feels really good here. And maybe we're stretching different muscles that we wouldn't be if we were further along in this stretch. Always tapping into how you're feeling from head to toe, inside out. And going ahead, stacking. Good, shaking the legs out. Nice. Open up here. Reaching arms wide. Finding our sit bones, lengthening, strong core. Let's find our sit bones. So that means we're not sort of hugging in here with this part of our body. We want to pull up through the pelvic floor. And it says shifting of the pelvis as well and lift. And our arms are like Y, YMCA, right? YMCA. Just kidding. We're not really doing that. Lift the chin, shoulders back, breathe. And then lower down. Let's bend both legs, feet flat or just relaxed, right? If we try to press our feet flat, sometimes getting crampy feet. So if you're one of those people, be careful with that. Try to relax the feet, knees together. Inhale. Exhale, and we're still pulling up through the pelvic floor, reaching this time in a T. Bring those arms back. Stay strong, stay breathing. Again, lifting up off the mat. Just sit bones are on the mat. Strong, long spine. Bringing the shoulders back a little further if you can. Keep lifting the chin and then lower down. Whew. A lot harder than it looks, right? Stretching all through that front body. Let's shake those legs out. And then, so we're going to flip our legs around back to all fours, but I'd like you to do it the uncomfortable way. There's a natural way we would come to all fours. Do it in a different way. I had one student say, well, I'm stuck, I can't move. So if you get stuck, go back to your regular way. So now on all fours, let's spread our fingers out comfortably, reaching the middle finger to the top of the mat and then taking our cat and cow. And I'd like you to take our time here in our cat and cow. And I'm just going to check and see if anyone else has joined us that I haven't said hello to. Hello, Pam. Hello, Dorothy. Hello, Alex. I may have missed someone along the way. Sorry if I did. But I'm so glad you're here. So we're on all fours. Cat and cow. Nice and slow. Remember, not necessarily going to the deepest part of the expression of the pose. Maybe you're halfway into a cat and you feel beautiful stretch through the hips. Just breathe into it and then continue. Remember, keeping the shoulders going wide. And then holding in a neutral. So neutral means we're strong through the core, but we have that natural curve in our low back, some people more than others. So strong through the core, really cinching in through the waist. And now let's go ahead and take our child's pose or puppy or shell stretch. Just reaching back. I'd like you to keep your elbows off the mat if you can, and maybe feel a stretch in and around the arm and the armpit, the chest, maybe through the back and the hips. Breathing. Always reconnect with the breath. Coming forward, let's take ourselves to our forearms. So forearms, and continue with a cat and cow here. Feel free to go a little faster here. Continue to press gently through the hands. We want the elbows to be directly under the shoulders. not further back and not wide or up, right? So there's a straight line from the elbow to the shoulders. And we want the shoulders also to be wide, to be back and down away from the ears. Continue with your cat and cow. So this allows us to get a stretch through our cat and cow without, again, using the shoulders. They want to help out so much, participate. And then once again, press our hips back, reaching our arms forward. This time, let's press the pads of the fingers and pull back, sort of like claws. See if we can initiate a little more stretch all the way to the shoulders. Continue to breathe. Continue to smile, even if it's smiling on the inside. All right, so we're going to come to all fours. We're going to do a little bit of glute work because glute work, having strong glutes, is really important for our low back, especially if you have low back pain. So again, we're going to keep that neutral spine. And then let's do our old-time favorite, old-fashioned fire hydrant, right? So the foot and knee come up at the same time. Lift and lower. Lift and lower, only going as far as you can without moving the whole body. So keeping strong through the core. Shoulders, hips stay towards the floor. Let the spine be nice and long. We're not letting the head lift too high or drop too low. And then let's lower down. Strong through the core, we'll take it to the other side. Lift and lower. Doesn't have to go too high. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. If your wrists and hands are getting tired, we can do this on our forearms. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Inhale, exhale. You may feel it deeper, you may feel it less deep. Let's lower down. Good. So let's all try the next few things on our forearms. We're going to take the left leg and bring it out to the side and then out and back. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Check back in on the core, check back in on the breathing and the spiraling. That knee stays lifted and all we're doing is straightening and bending, straightening and bending, straighten, bend. If you're feeling discomfort anywhere, not like regular muscle fatigue, go ahead and make an adjustment. Maybe the leg comes lower or higher. And now we're going to lower that knee, pull the belly in. Let's take it to the other side. Keep strong through the core. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Strong, wrapping that corset nice and strong. Let's go for 10 or any part of. This is your class. And then when you're ready, coming back to our forearm, we're going to send our hips to the right. So we're on our forearms and our knees. Pull the belly in tighter. We'll take it to the other side. Come back to the center and let's go ahead and send our hips back. If your hips are down low enough and you feel comfortable bringing your hands down by your side, go ahead, palms facing up. And just breathe and release here. Child's pose. So let's come up to all fours. And now we want enough space between our forearms and our thighs to give us our best down dog for our body. So in other words, as long as our spine is, that's the space between our knees and our forearms. Let's roll our toes under, take ourselves to our first down dog, sending the tailbone up. So once you're here, I'd like you to shift the pelvis so that the tailbone and the sit bones go higher, and we have a pointy V right at the top. Sometimes we get into this V and our back is still rounded a little. So try shifting the pelvis. Breathe and pedaling out. Let's bend the knees, look towards the front of the mat, and walk towards the front of the mat. In our forward fold and rolling up. Head comes up last. That's our Pilates way. Sun salutations, standing sun salutations. All right, so I don't know if you guys followed through with that, but let's do this one together. Inhale, pull the belly in tighter to forward fold, knees stay soft. Exhale. Inhale, really filling the lungs. Lead with the chest, lift the chin maybe. Exhale, pull the belly tighter, forward fold. Inhale, press into our feet, rising up, hands to heart center. We'll do 2 more of those, but feel free to stay here in mountain and just breathe, right? Breathe and smile. We'll do it together. Find your breath. Go inside. How do you feel? Let your body speak to you. Just listen. Finding our mountain. You can either find a drishti, which is a focal point straight ahead, perhaps way ahead and a little bit on the floor, if that feels better for you. Let's lift all 10 toes and lower all 10 toes. We want our feet to be parallel. And mountain pose. As we root deeper and wider, we're rising up, feeling the energy throughout our bodies, from head to toe, the nadis, the energy pathways of our body, everything working to keep us alive physically and emotionally. Just go inside and listen. And the chakras, nice long strong spine. Let's not forget to stay strong through the core. Shoulders back and down. Knees are straight and soft. Reaching the crown of the head, maybe lifting the chin a little. And if your eyes are closed, allowing whatever movement happens, because there will be movement. Bring our hands to heart center. So taking ourselves to our tree for our balance pose today. So first, before we lift our right leg, I want you to press the roots deeper with our left, and then taking our right foot either to our calf, our thigh, or keeping a kickstand where our toes are on the floor and the heel is just above the ankle. Tree pose. Let's move our arms in the breeze like our trees around here were doing yesterday. We can move them. Maybe they weren't moving as big as this, but you can move your arms whatever way you'd like, if you'd like. Feel free to fall out of your tree, and we're all coming back to mountain pose. Taking it to the other side, press into our right roots deep and wide, and then perhaps this side feels different and we want to bring the foot a little higher or a little lower, and then feel free to move those arms, those branches, grow the branches. Perhaps we take goddess arms, all the while breathing, checking from the inside out how you're feeling. Strong core. Maybe getting a little twist. And when you're ready, coming back to mountain. And let's take that one more time on each side, or feel free to stay in your mountain. As long as you're breathing and sending the breath to all areas of your physical and emotional bodies that need it. Picturing the roots growing deeper and wider and giving us the stability we need at this time in our lives. Feel free to take a tree on this side. We can also cross over here, right? Or keep our toe on the floor, or take it a few different ways. So wherever you decide, just reconnect with the breath. And when you're ready, taking it to the other side. First, grow the roots before you lift the other leg. If you can hold your balance wherever that is, and feel the muscles of the other foot and leg and hip getting a little fatigued, that can be a really good thing, getting stronger through the balance muscles, I like to call them. Remember, it's your body, it's your yoga. Finding your drishti focal point. And then when you're ready, coming back down. Take a look at your feet. We want them to be parallel. We want to roll forward and back, and maybe that's what helps us to get parallel with our feet. It may feel a little almost bow-legged if we're not used to doing that, right? But we want the big toe and the second toe to be facing straight ahead. Knees and hips straight ahead, shoulders straight ahead, finding our mountain. Let's go ahead and reach our arms up. Why again? Why? Reaching. We're going to take the arms back, stretching through the front of the shoulders. Let's lift our chin, zipping, cinching in the waist. Breathe. Taking our elbows down to goddess arms. See if we can bring our elbows and shoulders a little wider. Check in on our core and our breathing. And then reaching up. I expect that you would feel a lot of stretching through the shoulders and neck here, reaching wide, straighten those elbows, and then bringing the elbows back and down. So it looks like this if you can, right? As long as we're staying strong through the core. but it's hard to get the elbows back here without bringing the chin forward. Go ahead and bring the arms forward a little and lift that chin a tiny bit, right? Should be feeling a big stretch through and around the shoulders. And then nice and easy, let's lower down. Good. Rolling our shoulders, interlacing our fingers. And so now our fingers are together, our hands together, and hold here. So we're going to take ourselves to a straight spine. Check the knees for softness. Press through the feet. Our feet are still parallel. And then lead with the heart. So we're hinging here at the hips, not curling the low back, hinging. So hands are here. Lead with the heart, straight spine, and stopping when you feel that stretch through the hamstrings. If you feel too much in the back of the knees, go ahead and bend the knees a little more. Still pressing through the feet. Pull the belly in and lengthen. And this time, pull the belly in. Let's lengthen and pull a little tighter. And we'll go ahead and let our head drop towards the floor and lift our arms overhead. Remember, if this is not a pose that's right for you, you don't have to do it. It's your yoga. Maybe the hands stay on the back of the hips, pressing into the feet and rising up, using the core. Good. Let's reach our knuckles towards the earth, lift our heart, perhaps sending the hips forward. It's not necessarily just a stretch in the low spine or an arch in the low spine, right? I don't want you to feel too much back there. Rather have you feel more here through the front of the body. And then release. Good. Let's take ourselves back to the front of the mat. Once again, finding our mountain pose. And allowing our eyes to close, allowing sensations through our bodies, through our energy pathways. Feel as if we're growing our roots deeper and rising up higher. Let's get 3 more deep, slow breaths here, sending the breath everywhere it needs to go. We'll take it to the front of the mat. And then inhale, folding into a forward fold, using the belly. And if you can stay here for a little bit, we're just going to hold on to our elbows, maybe allowing our torso to come a little closer to our thighs. And once again, check on the knees. They can be as straight or as bent as you like. Relax through the neck. Letting our arms float down to the mat. Bending our knees and our hands come to the mat. We'll step back to a plank and then right to our knees. This time I'd like us to take our knees wide, big toes together, and stretch back. Child's pose. Feel free to take the forehead to the mat and breathe. Then coming to all fours, we'll bring ourselves back to a seated position. Shaking our legs out, bending the right leg. So we have the foot flat on the floor, right somewhere along the inside of our left leg. Left leg is active, toes pointing up and getting a twist here. So as we twist, again, lengthen, lift. Let's look behind here. Try to release and settle in this twist. Not too tight, not sinking too much. Let's lengthen. And now we'll bring our right arm up and place it right down, almost underneath our hip, inside of the hip. Taking our left arm across and getting a twist and lengthen here. Breathe into wherever you feel that tightness. Check the left foot that the toes are still coming back towards your shin or lifting up towards the ceiling. Sometimes this leg sort of wants to relax here. And then engage the core. Let's come back. We're going to pick up this leg, ankle over the thigh. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a little massage, pedicure, which I'm sure we're all in need of someone to rub our feet. So ask your spouse to do that for you. Very important. And so the ankle is over your thigh, not your knee. We're going to take our hands here, slide our left leg back, and then find those sit bones again. So maybe a shift in the pelvis, lengthen the spine, lift the heart, shoulders back and down. Not too much weight on the hands, but using our hands and arms to help us lengthen. Inhale and exhale. This is a pigeon. So going where, adjust if it's too much, adjust more if it's not enough, but remember, strong through the core. Sometimes just pulling the core in, up, we feel a different stretch. Stretch from the inside out. Let's lower down and take it to the other side. So this foot somewhere along the inside of the right leg. Activate that right leg, toes pointing up and lengthen. Good, let's go ahead and take a twist here. So we can just play around with our neck a little more, maybe look a little further behind, gently, maybe looking forward. Let's take our left arm up, place it right next to our hip, and then perhaps the right arm comes across and lengthen. Feel free to adjust. Breathe in deeply. Engage the core a little tighter before we move. Come back to the center, taking our left ankle across. A little massage here. Unless you're sitting next to your spouse and they're doing it for you, that's okay too. Hint, hint, hint. Hint for all of you that have spouses that are either with you or you're going to tell them after they need to rub your feet. All right, let's take our hands here behind and take our pigeon and lengthen. Breathe. Maybe shifting the pelvis a little more. Maybe engaging in and up through the core a little more. Lifting the heart. Breathe. The pigeons are generally stretching through the hip, in this case the left hip, but you may be feeling it anywhere up and down your body, your back. Pull the belly in a little tighter to release. And shaking our legs out, finding our sit bones. I'm going to take the bottoms of the feet together, frog legs, and then coming down over, not necessarily scooping back for the Pilates way or with a long spine, going to where you're comfortable, of course keeping our core engaged. And then stretch. Even if you know you can stretch a little further, maybe hold here for a little bit and just breathe, visualizing those muscles through the hip and the back and the legs, just releasing, relaxing. using our breath. So when we hold poses, the idea is to let the muscles sort of relax and release, not tighten into our stretch, but rather relax into our stretch. When you're ready, pressing up, bringing our knees together, scooching forward, and then rolling down. Let's take our time with this, right? Feel as if we're putting one vertebrae, one bead, one bone down at a time. We get to a point where it's hard to hold, right? I want you to really use your legs and then roll back. Good. Walking our feet back a little closer to our hips, bringing our arms out to the side in a T position. Relaxing through the shoulders. See if we can get our shoulders down and wide. Palms facing up, taking the knees to the right. Keeping our shoulders down. Let's see if we can just feel that stretch through our torso or our thighs, maybe the front of the hip. Just release. Pulling in a little tighter through the core to switch our legs to the other side. Breathe into the tight areas of your physical body. Visualize them releasing and relaxing. You can do the same thing with your emotional bodies. Visualize those thoughts, those worries, just relaxing and drifting away. Just approaching it differently, right? Pull the belly in tighter. Let's come back to the center. We're going to lengthen our legs out and our arms overhead. Full body yawn. Stretching in opposite directions. Stretching from the waist first and inhaling deeply and slowly. Exhaling, keep reaching. Inhale, keep reaching. Exhale, keep reaching from the waist through the extremities. One more time, inhaling deeply. Into an X position. X position. So arms and legs wide. Not in standing, in seat, in lying down still, so that our legs are going off the corners of the back of the mat, arms the corners of the top of the mat. Stretching, and let's lengthen once again from the waist, through the arms, through the legs. Big inhale. Completely exhaling. One more time, inhale. Exhale. And we're going to take ourselves to a crescent stretch. So sliding that right leg over to the left. I'm going to come back down to the mat. So maybe that will be helpful. And then sliding the right arm over the head. Let's adjust our shoulders. Let's adjust our hips so they're flat, as equal as possible. This is a crescent stretch. I'll once again stand so you can see what I mean by that. We're stretching the right side of the body. Try to get this right elbow and arm down, even if it means it's still out to this side. Relaxing, breathing. And then feel free to cross the right ankle over the left. You may be feeling a stretch on both sides of the body. When you're ready, uncross the right leg before after you pull the core in a little tighter, I should say, right? Even there, and then come back to our X, reaching the arms and legs off the corners of the mat. And then we'll slide our left leg to our right. Slide our left arm over, adjust our shoulders and hips. Breathing, releasing, feel free to pull the core in and lift that left ankle over the right. See if we can send the breath to all those tight areas. Visualize them releasing. Let's pull the belly in a little tighter, uncross the legs, and slide back to our X, adjusting our hips and our shoulders, and lengthening. One more deep inhale and exhale. Bringing the legs back together, feet flat. So we're taking ourselves to a bridge pose. I'd like your knees and feet together, shoulders down, lifting the hips. Feel as if we can get a stretch through the front of the hips here. I'll turn to the side so you know what I mean, right? So shoulders down, hands down, and send the hips up. Lengthen through the thighs, lift the heart as well. Shoulders taking the weight. If you feel there's too much weight coming down from your knees to your neck, just take the shoulders, press them a little more so you're not feeling weight through your head and your neck. Sending the energy right through the knees and then rolling down. Let's lift our head and shoulders. Let's hug our legs in, shape of a ball, as small as you can get. Breathing deeply. Keep the belly pulled in. And you can get some movement here if you like. And then taking to the center, we're going to lower our head, lower our shoulders as much as we can, taking the head slowly side to side. And then lowering one foot, lowering the other, and preparing for your Shavasana. Feel free to take one last pose or stretch if your body or mind were really looking forward to that. And then finding the ultimate pose, Shavasana, the way you'll be most comfortable for the next few minutes, allowing yourself to relax and be held by the earth, allowing gravity to help your muscles and joints and physical body release and relax, allowing your breath to relax the mind, the thoughts, sending the breath everywhere, filling the lungs. Help me to let go of my resistance to change. Help me to be open to the process. Help me believe that the place I'll be dropped off will be better than the place where I was picked up. Help me surrender, trust, accept change, even if I don't understand it right now. And if you'd like to come out of the Shavasana, feel free to make your way to seated, taking your time. Shanti, 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 peace in our thoughts, peace in our words, peace in our heart. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time.